What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another pre-market analysis. So what I have done, I've already done the breakdown. I believe it was like that Friday. If you don't know, I do a breakdown every Friday in the Discord after the market closes at 4 p.m. just so we're already prepared for the next week. And I didn't record that for you all. So what I'm gonna do is just scan past everything right now. Obviously, you can tell we have everything in line, broken down. We're going to go from our active trade, which we are already in, Usdjpy. We're going to go over the top two pairs that I see ready for this week. We have a couple of counter trend trades that's getting prepared for this week, and then we have the overall the overall flow of the market, meaning riding the wave, the correct trend of the market. We have three, and then everything else simply not ready. So starting off, we have USDJPY. Why did we take this position on USDJPY, and what do I see? So on the daily time frame, if you can't tell, we are in a bullish trend. Price went from bearish to then bullish due to the breakout of these lower highs, and at the moment price has formed multiple signs of rejection towards our recent higher lows, just forming this area of support. And if I zoom out, we can see this is a respected support zone. So not only are we bullish on the daily time frame, which is good, but we are now showing signs of rejection from an area of support. And if I take the drawings away, you can see on top of that the rejections that we're having. Price formed this beautiful bullish variation pattern engulfing past that previous bearish candle. So once price formed that bullish variation pattern engulfing past that previous bearish candle, you can see how this allowed the 4-hour time frame to go and perform the break of structure. So once price performed that break of structure, not only now are we back in sync with the higher time frames, being that the daily is in a bullish trend, but we are not in sync with the daily time frame. That's for another story. Right now, we know that the daily is bullish. We know that we are at an area of support, and we know that the daily has recently formed a bullish variation pattern, aka our entry signals off of the higher time frame. This is good. We know that bullish pressure, bullish momentum is into play. So knowing that, and like we said, after the bullish variation pattern happened, this allowed the break of structure on the 4-hour time frame. You can see us go from bearish to then bullish due to the breakout of these lower highs. So not only did this allow the 4-hour to perform the break of structure back towards the upside, it also allowed the 1-hour to perform the break of structure back towards the upside. And you can see clear as day the 4-hour and the 1-hour in perfect sync back towards our bullish trend. So not only did the 4-hour perform the break of structure, once we saw that, I then wanted to see the retracement get established and price tap back into that recent break of structure, performing the break and retest setup. So after the 4-hour formed the retracement, and then on top of that, I saw that we're tapping back into our zone. This is when I went towards a 1-hour time frame to find our area of interest to where I'm trying to take this trade from. So on the 1-hour time frame, you can see how, like we just talked about, we are in sync in this bullish trend. But our objective is to find the last recent structure point where price has recently broken out of, to where we can see price pull back to reject possibly an entry, right? So after we established that price was in this bearish trend, we then had that bullish flip due to the break of these lower highs. Not only do we have this now 1-hour trend back in our bullish market, we also have the last structure break being around here. A lot of the times what will happen is you will have structure inside your overall structure, right? So we know the overall structure. If I take my line chart, you can see the overall structure within the market is what is now bullish. How do we know that? Well, we know the last recent lower high is around here, and once price established the breakout of this lower high, you can obviously see price had the breakout going from bearish to now bullish. Price gave us that break of structure. Now where's an area where price can possibly pull back to? We have two possible areas. One, you have your recent break of structure, aka that lower high, and then two, you have your structure within the overall structure, due to it being the last previous point price has broken out of. So seeing this last previous point price has formed, aka structure, I want to use this, not this. Why? Because this is simply the last recent structure break price has shown me. Yes, the overall trend has switched back to bullish, but the last structure break is around here. This is where I would use this zone to mark off as an area of interest. So if I drag this back down, like so. You can obviously see where we got our box tool, we marked off this zone, and now we simply wait for price to tap back into. Once price taps back into our 1 hour area of interest, as you can see, treated as resistance / support, I then drop towards the 5-minute time frame to look for the shift of structure. So the first entry that we could have possibly had was around here. Hold on. So looking at the 5-minute time frame, you can see us go from this bearish to then bullish flip after price tapped back into our area of interest. Once price performed this first break of structure, I didn't find an entry because I was just a little too late to the party. I would have loved to have found an entry around here. This was the first breakout. You can obviously see the bullish engulfing and the break of structure happening. This is a perfect setup. I simply did not enter that setup because I was not at my charts. And the next setup that occurred, you can obviously see when price had the continuation break, we had the pullback, and then we had that next second break towards the upside, breaking past these recent higher highs. Once price showed me that, you can obviously see we found our entry off of this bullish variation pattern, stops just below, and then my target, like you all know, since we are using a 1 hour structure point, we're targeting those 1 hour higher highs. USDJPY looks good. We're simply holding, and we're going to see what happens this week. Our next favorite pair is Eurocad. No, we are not in this trade, but I am looking to enter sometime this week, possibly tonight or possibly not. So looking on the daily time frame, you can see how the daily time frame, clear as day, we're in this bullish trend. Price has now formed the break past this area of interest. Price has formed the retest of this area of interest, and you can possibly see price continue back towards the upside. But the thing that I see is that I see price having some type of a deeper move towards the downside. Let me explain. So on the daily time frame, obviously we're at an area of interest, but if I zoom out and I look towards the left, you can see this area of interest where price has never broken through. Every time we reach this zone, the only time we've been above this area was back in 2008. Like, come on. Every time price reached this zone, you can see rejection, rejection. Over here, rejection, price, rejection, rejection. And this was in 2008 when we even broke above. Besides that, in 2016 was the next time, as you can see, price got back into, we rejected. 2018, we rejected. Now it's 2025 and price has finally reached the zone again. What are the possibilities price is going to reject it? So on top of seeing this, not only are we now at an area of resistance where price reaches, it taps, and it falls drastically, right? But we can also, if I take the drawings away, we can see this bearish variation getting established. We have two beautiful bearish candles engulfing past that previous bullish candle, showing me that selling pressure is stepping into play. So after seeing this bearish variation take place, you can see how this allowed the 4-hour time frame to perform that break of structure. Not only did it allow the 4-hour time frame to perform the break of structure, but it also allowed the 1 hour to get in sync with that 4-hour time frame, as you all can see. So after that 4-hour establishes the retracement and we tap back into, you can see where we dropped towards the 1 hour time frame, and we had an area of interest where I was looking to take price from. So now we have this area of support / resistance. I'm simply, come later tonight, if price can present me with a continuation break towards the downside, you can see how the 5-minute went from bullish to now bearish. What I would like to see come later tonight is price continue to have this bearish move. Look for the deep retracement on the 5-minute time frame. After price can form the retracement, we look for then the continuation back down. We find our entry off of this break, stops just above these areas of rejection, and then, like you know, since we're using a 1 hour area of interest, we're going to use those 1 hour lows for our take profit, looking something like this. This is an amazing trade. I do like this trade, and on top of everything that's going on, we have a left head and a right shoulder concept taking place, right? We have our left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Price has now finally broken through that neckline. We're looking like price is forming the retest, and now I'm looking for price to have that continuation move back down towards the downside. Eurocad looks good for tonight. Next, we have GBP CAD. It's not my favorite, but it possibly could continue towards the upside. Daily time frame, you can see clear as day we are in this bullish trend. After price formed that breakout of these highs, the continuation breakout, we have now our new higher high, our higher low. When price formed that breakout, you can see how this was also in sync with the 4-hour time frame performing that break of structure. This is good. This is the type of trades where I'm risking more due to our daily and our 4-hour being in sync. This is the flow of the market. Where you see me taking the, these 4-hour and 1-hour trades, these are counter trend moves. I'm not going to risk as much, but these I will risk a little bit more. So the daily is bullish, the 4-hour is bullish, and you can obviously see clear as day once price performed the breaker structure off of the daily time frame, price formed this retracement. Same thing like we talk about on the 4-hour. Allow price to have that retracement, tap back into, drop towards the 1-hour. This time we're going to allow the daily form that retracement, make sure it taps back into. After we tap back into and form that retracement, we go towards the 4-hour to now find our area of interest. Same steps on the 4-hour time frame. Where's the last recent structure break where I can see price pull back to, possibly reject, and then have that continuation? Well, looking at price, so you can see how we went from bearish to bullish, and then price had the breakout of these lower highs. We have the overall trend flip due to the breakout here, but the last structure break is around here. That's when we grabbed our tool, we marked off this area of interest of support / resistance, and now we're just simply waiting for price to show us some breaker structure on the lower time frame to continue this move towards the upside. The only downside that I don't like about this trade is all of this. Let's get a different. This, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the ugliest thing when it comes to structure. You can obviously see on the 4-hour time frame, as price did perform the breakout of these recent lower highs, we have a lot of hiccups within the market. I guess the slow down movement, bullish movement towards the upside, right? You can obviously see we have this strong, clean breaker structures, bearish momentum. We have our easy, clean pullback, and then we had that continuation. But as price performed that breakout, you see there's no stutter steps. This is a straight dump. Same thing with Eurcad when we caught this trade. Price had the breakout, a straight dump. Here's another trade we caught. I want to show you all. AUD/USD, same thing. We had the breakout, the straight dump, right? But right now on GBP CAD, we have that breakout, but this isn't a straight push, right? We have a lot of hiccups in the market, and I simply don't like that. It just shows me there's a lot of, I guess, slowed down momentum when it comes to bullish momentum. I would love to see, like I said, the straight just either bearish momentum dump or the bullish momentum push. But besides that, I don't really like this, and because of that, simply because of that, I'm not really interested in this pair. It doesn't meet my rules, because if it met my rules, I wouldn't have to do this indecisive. Is this clean or is this not clean? I wouldn't have to think twice about it. If I have to think twice about a setup, I'm walking away from that setup, because it's not allowing me to see the cleanest structure, right? When you see clean structure, you don't question it, you just do it. So with this, I'm questioning it, and I'm not going to do it. Next, we have NZD CAD for our counter trend move. This is a counter trend move. Well, somewhat of a counter trend move. You can see the daily, we are bearish, but we had this steep retracement on the daily time frame. But it's okay, because now we have reached this area of resistance due to it being our previous lower high. You can see this area of support, areas of resistance, and price form this beautiful bearish variation. That allowed the 4-hour to perform the breakout, but like we said, you can see the choppiness, and we're simply not interested. So next, Eurojpy. Eurojpy, I'm looking for the counter trend move back down towards the downside. You can see the daily, we are bullish. I'm simply waiting for some type of daily bearish engulfing, which will allow the 4-hour time frame to perform this break of structure, going from bullish to bearish. I will then look for the pullback, go towards the 1-hour, find our zone, take this trade. Till that's established, we're simply going to wait. And I want to say it's the same thing with CHF/JPY. Yeah, you can obviously see we're bullish. We're waiting for the 4-hour to perform the switch from bullish to bearish, catch that counter trend move. Same thing with AUD/USD as well. You can see we are bullish. We are at that area of interest, but on the 4-hour time frame, you can see there's a lot of choppiness going on, right? The one thing I would love to see, if I go back towards the daily time frame, yes, we are bullish, but if price can form some type of bearish engulfing past these previous bullish candles, and on top of that, getting back below our daily zone, where where we do treat it as support and we do treat it as resistance. If the daily time frame gets back below, this will allow the 4-hour time frame to perform the break of structure around here. So as soon as price can get back below, we're simply going to wait for the retest, find that rejection, and continue to route this trade back down towards the downside. Our counter trend moves or counter trend plays look really good. We simply have to be patient and allow it to continue to develop. Last, we have the top 3 continuation flow of the market trades, again riding the wave. Right now, CAD JPY, we're simply waiting for the breakout towards the upside. You can see we are bullish, but I would love to see price perform this breakout of these highs, showing me that one, price has the bullish momentum to continue, which will allow the 4-hour to have that continuation breakout of these highs. We look for the retest, so on and so forth. Next, USD CAD, same thing, either waiting for the breakout of these lows, breakout of these highs, which will ultimately allow the 4-hour time frame to either have the breakout of these lows or possibly catch a counter trend move back towards the upside to allow that daily time frame to perform the breakout of these lower highs. So we'll have to wait and see. And then last, NZD USD, I want to say I'm not really interested. It's choppy and ugly. So top 2, we have Eurocad, GBP CAD. Top pair we're obviously we're in right now is Usdjpy. We're simply waiting for that continuation move back towards the upside. Counter trend opportunities, we have Euro JPY looking for the daily retracement. Same thing with CHF JPY, same thing with AUD USD. So we got some good pairs as far as this week. We simply have to continue to be patient, allow price to develop, and then execute when it gives us that opportunity. Like always, if y'all have any questions, make sure you type in the comment section down below. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe. If you like these videos, you subscribing allows you to come back for more videos. And then you subscribing and liking the video shows me that you enjoy the content. And I can just make more stuff like this so you can continue to enjoy the content. That's all I got. Like always, I pray that you enjoy. I pray that you learn something, and I pray that you continue to develop. I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.